I thought I was going to die in that mountain cave, hiding with my 6-year-old son and 20 wolves as our only protection. Then he found us, the alpha king who once mourned my death, the mate I fled from, the father who never knew his son existed. His eyes burned with betrayal when he recognized our child, and now he's determined to claim us both as his own. With a ruthless enemy hunting us for my son's heart and ancient powers awakening in his blood, I'm trapped between the safety of the fortress walls and the freedom of the wild. The Alpha King swears to protect us, but can I trust the man who couldn't save me 6 years ago? Subscribe and tell me in the comments if you've ever had to choose between a dangerous truth and a necessary lie, because this story of wolves, royalty, and forbidden blood magic is about to change everything you thought you knew about survival. The snow falls heavy tonight. My fingers tremble as I count our remaining food stores in the dim light. 6 days, maybe 7 if we're careful. Eli sleeps curled against my side, his small body radiating heat beneath our threadbare blanket. The wolves form a protective circle around us, their massive bodies our first defense against both cold and danger. "Mama?" Eli whispers, his voice fragile in the darkness. "Shh, go back to sleep." I stroke his hair, feeling my heart squeeze with familiar fear. He hasn't spoken in weeks. This single word feels like a victory and a warning. Something woke him. Something beyond the howling wind that batters our cave entrance. I sit up slowly, careful not to disturb the wolves. Their ears perk forward, bodies tensed toward the narrow opening where ice crystals form delicate patterns. My breath catches when I hear it. Howls that don't belong to our pack. Foreign, threatening. Darius has found us. I shake my head. Not Darius. His scouts, perhaps. I've hidden us too well for him to track us himself. The Alpha who ordered my death would send others to finish what he started. The wolves rise, hackles raised. I press Eli deeper into the shadows, behind the jutting rocks where we've made our bed. His eyes widen, but he makes no sound. My brave, silent boy. "Stay here," I whisper. "Don't come out unless I call." I grab the crude knife I fashioned from stone and metal scraps. The weight feels insignificant against what approaches. My hand shakes. The silence stretches as the foreign howls fade, replaced by something worse. Footsteps. Human footsteps, crunching through snow. The wolves form a line between me and the entrance. Their loyalty still amazes me after all these years. These creatures found me bleeding in the forest, protected me while I gave birth in this same cave. They've hunted for us, kept us warm, become our family. Firelight flickers against the cave walls. Not firelight, torches. Multiple torches carried by multiple hands. My throat tightens with dread. "There's tracks leading here," a deep voice says outside. "Fresh ones." Another voice responds, authoritative and sharp. "Spread out. Check the perimeter." I back up toward Eli, knife raised. The wolves growl, a rumbling warning that echoes through the stone chamber. The torchlight grows brighter. A shadow appears at the entrance. Tall, broad-shouldered, powerful. I feel terror rise within me. Not a scout, something worse. He steps inside, lowering his torch. The light catches his face, strong jaw, dark eyes, a scar cutting across his right cheekbone. His gaze sweeps the cave and stops on me. Recognition dawns in his expression, followed by shock so profound it transforms his features. "Lena," he whispers. My body freezes. That voice. I know that voice. It haunts my broken memories, my fragmented dreams. His torch drops to the ground, flames sputtering in the snow. The wolves snarl louder, but they don't attack. They sense my paralysis. "You're dead," he says, his voice cracking. "I buried you." I raise my knife higher, backing toward my son. "Stay away from us." His eyes never leave my face. He takes another step forward, ignoring the wolves. His hand reaches out, trembling slightly. "Lena," he says again. "My Luna." The title strikes me like a physical blow. Memories flash, Fire, screams, betrayal. His face above mine, promising protection. Then darkness, pain, the certainty of death. Ronan, I say, the name tearing from my throat. The Alpha King of the Northern Territories. My mate. The man who failed to save me. The wolves part for him, recognizing something I've tried to forget. He takes another step. The torchlight illuminates tears in his eyes. More figures appear at the entrance, his soldiers, their weapons drawn. His hand rises, commanding them to halt without looking away from me. How? He asks. A single word loaded with years of grief. I don't answer. My knife doesn't waver. Behind me, I feel Eli shift in the shadows. Ronan's eyes flick toward the movement, narrowing slightly. Who else is with you? He asks. No one who concerns you, I snap. His jaw tightens. Everything about you concerns me. The soldiers shuffle impatiently. One calls from outside. Alpha, there are more tracks. Someone else has been here. Ronan's expression darkens. Rogues? No, I say before I can stop myself. The wolves hunt for us. His eyes widen. Us? Eli chooses that moment to peek around the stone, one small hand clutching my leg. Ronan's breath catches audibly. He stares at the child, calculation and wonder fighting across his features. A child, he whispers. Your child. My heart pounds painfully against my ribs. My son, I correct, voice hard. Something shifts in his expression. Pain, longing, anger. I can't decipher which. How old? He asks. I remain silent, but Eli steps out further. The torchlight catches his face, his eyes, so similar to the man standing before us. Ronan sees it. I watch recognition dawn like a terrible sunrise. 6, he says, not a question, but a statement. He's 6. The exact years since he buried an empty coffin with my name. The exact years since I fled, pregnant and bleeding, into these mountains. The silence hangs between us, heavy with unspoken truth. Ronan's gaze moves from Eli to me, his expression shifting between disbelief and something dangerously close to hope. He has your eyes, I finally say, my voice barely steady. Ronan takes a step closer. The wolves don't growl now. They watch, waiting. My knife remains pointed at his chest, but my arm trembles with the effort of holding it steady. I thought you died in the fire, he says. I found blood, your blood, and your necklace in the ashes. Someone wanted you to think that. I keep my body between him and Eli. His eyes darken. Who? I shake my head. My memories of that night remain fractured, pieces missing from the blow that nearly killed me. I woke in the forest, bleeding. The wolves found me. Wolves don't protect humans, one of his soldiers calls from the entrance. Ronan silences him with a raised hand, never looking away from me. These ones do, he says quietly. They always recognized her as Lena. The title again, a knife twisting inside me. I was never his Lena, never took my place beside him. Our mating ceremony was interrupted by the attack, by the betrayal that separated us. You're coming with me, Ronan says, his voice leaving no room for refusal. I laugh, bitter and sharp. I've survived 6 years without you. I don't need your protection now. It's not a request. His eyes flick to Eli again. There are forces hunting these mountains. Darius has returned. The name sends ice through my veins. Eli moves closer to me, sensing my fear. The wolves shift restlessly around us. His scouts found tracks near the village, Ronan continues. Now I understand what they were tracking. A female voice calls from outside. Alpha, we should move. The storm's getting worse. Ronan nods without turning. Prepare to leave. We're not going anywhere with you, I say, tightening my grip on the knife. He steps closer, until the blade presses against his chest. His eyes hold mine. That's my son, he says, his voice rough with emotion. My blood, my heir. He's mine. I correct, fighting the panic rising in my throat. I've protected him this long. And I'll protect you both now. His hand covers mine on the knife, firm but not cruel. If you stay, Darius will find you. He won't show mercy. I feel Eli shivering against my leg. The fire has burned low, and the cave grows colder by the minute. Our food supplies dwindle. The wolves can hunt, but the game grows scarce in these harsh winter months. Why should I trust you? I ask. You didn't save me then. Pain flashes across his features. Because I didn't know you needed saving. Because I mourned you every day for 6 years. Because I never stopped looking. His words strike something buried inside me. Memories surface. His protection, his gentleness, the bond that formed between us before everything burned. Please, he says, his voice softer now. Let me make this right. A loud crack sounds overhead. We both look up as ice and snow shift dangerously along the cave ceiling. Eli whimpers, pressing closer to me. The cave is becoming unstable, Ronan says urgently. The warmth from the fire has weakened the ice. Another crack, louder this time. A chunk of ice crashes down near the entrance. The wolves growl, circling anxiously. We need to leave, Ronan insists, looking at Eli with genuine concern. Now. I hesitate, caught between fear of the past and fear for my son's safety. Eli looks up at me, his eyes wide and frightened. Mama, he whispers, the second word he's spoken tonight. Cold. Ronan's expression softens at the sound of his voice. I have shelter, food, warmth. Let me help you. Help him. The cave groans again. My decision crystallizes with the falling ice. The wolves come with us, I say. Not a question, but a demand. Ronan nods immediately. Of course, they're pack now. I lower the knife slowly, still wary. If you try to separate us, I won't, he interrupts. You have my word as Alpha. He extends his hand toward Eli, who shrinks back against me. Ronan doesn't push, just kneels to the child's level. Hello, he says simply, his voice gentle in a way I'd forgotten he possessed. Eli stares at him, curious despite his fear. The resemblance between them strikes me anew. The same strong brow, the same watchful intensity. We should go, I say, gathering our few possessions, before the cave collapses. Ronan rises, calling orders to his soldiers. They enter cautiously, eyeing the wolves with mistrust. One tall woman pushes forward, her face registering shock when she sees me. Lena? She gasps, stopping short. It's not possible. I recognize her immediately. Maeve, Ronan's beta. Her presence stirs unease in my gut, fragments of memory I can't quite grasp. Later, Ronan says to her, his tone clipped. Get the horses ready. She hesitates, her eyes moving between us before settling on Eli. Something like guilt flashes across her features before she nods and retreats. Ronan wraps his heavy cloak around my shoulders. The warmth and his scent engulf me, triggering memories I've suppressed for years. He reaches for Eli, but I pull my son into my arms instead. I'll carry him, I say firmly. Ronan's jaw tightens, but he doesn't argue. Stay close to me, he instructs, leading us toward the entrance. The storm rages outside, snow swirling in violent patterns. The wolves move ahead, breaking trail through the deep drifts. Ronan's soldiers form a protective circle around us, torches raised against the darkness. I feel his eyes on me as we trudge through the snow. The questions he doesn't ask hang between us, heavier than the storm. Who tried to kill me? Why did I never return? Does Eli know who his father is? The answers are complicated. Some I don't fully know myself. Some I fear to speak aloud. We reach the horses, stomping nervously in the wind. Ronan helps me mount, placing Eli in front of me. His hands linger on my waist, steadying us. Hold tight, he says, his voice rough with emotion. It's a long ride to the fortress. The wolves fall into formation alongside the horses. Ronan mounts his massive black stallion, taking the lead. As we leave the cave behind, a final crash echoes through the night, the entrance collapsing under the weight of ice and snow. "You saved us," I whisper, the realization settling uncomfortably. Ronan turns, his eyes finding mine through the swirling snow. "I buried you once," he says, his voice breaking slightly. "I won't do it again." The fortress looms through the snowstorm like a mountain carved by giants. Massive stone walls stretch upward, torches flickering along the battlements despite the howling wind. My arms ache from holding Eli tight against me through the long ride. His small body has grown heavy, his head nodding with exhaustion. Ronan rides beside us, his eyes constantly scanning the forest edges. He hasn't spoken since we left the cave, but his presence fills the space between us, watchful, protective, dangerous. "Open the gates," he shouts as we approach. The heavy iron gates groan open. Guards stand at attention, their eyes widening as they count the wolves trotting alongside our horses. Their gazes shift to me, then Eli, confusion evident in their expressions. "Alpha," one guard begins, "the wolves are under my protection." Ronan cuts him off. "As are the woman and child." We pass through the gates into a torchlit courtyard. Servants hurry forward, heads bowed respectfully. Maeve dismounts first, issuing orders in hushed tones. The activity around us feels overwhelming after years of quiet isolation. Ronan moves to help me down, but I slide from the horse on my own, Eli clutched against my chest. My legs nearly buckle from the journey. Ronan's hand catches my elbow, steadying me. I pull away immediately. "You'll stay in the East Wing," he says, his voice tight with restraint. "It's warmest there." "We stay together," I remind him, my tone leaving no room for negotiation. He nods once. "Of course." The wolves hesitate at the courtyard entrance. I turn to them, whistling softly. The largest, a silver female with amber eyes, approaches first. The others follow, ignoring the nervous murmurs of the servants. "They won't harm anyone unless threatened," I say to Ronan. His eyes study the pack with new interest. "They followed you all these years. They protected us when no one else would." His jaw tightens at the accusation in my words. He doesn't defend himself, just motions for us to follow him inside. The fortress interior blazes with firelight and candles. Rich tapestries line stone walls, depicting forest scenes and wolf packs beneath full moons. Servants bow as we pass, their curious glances quickly averted when Ronan's gaze falls upon them. Eli stirs against my shoulder, lifting his head to take in our surroundings. His eyes widen at the grandeur around us. He's never seen anything beyond our cave and the forest. "This is where you live?" he asks me quietly, his voice small with wonder. Before I can answer, Ronan speaks. "This is your home now," he says, his eyes fixed on my son's face. I feel fear rise within me. "This is temporary," I correct sharply. Ronan's eyes find mine. "We'll discuss that later." We climb a spiral staircase to a long hallway lined with heavy wooden doors. Ronan stops before the largest, pushing it open to reveal a spacious chamber. A massive fireplace dominates one wall, flames already dancing across logs. A bed covered in furs occupies the center of the room. "You'll be comfortable here," he says, stepping aside to let us enter. The room is warm, luxurious compared to our cave. Eli slips from my arms, moving cautiously toward the fire, drawn to its heat. The wolves follow, settling on the thick rug before the flames. "There's a bathing chamber through there," Ronan says, indicating a door to the right. "And clean clothes in the wardrobe." I stand awkwardly in the center of the room, suddenly aware of my ragged appearance. 6 years in the wild have left their mark on me. My clothes are pieced together from what I could salvage or make. My hair hangs in a tangled braid down my back. "You should rest," Ronan says, still watching me from the doorway. We'll talk tomorrow. I want to leave at first light, I tell him. His expression darkens. That's not possible. You can't keep us prisoner, I snap. I'm keeping you safe, he counters. Darius's forces grow stronger each day. He hunts these mountains for a reason. For you. My blood runs cold at the name. Eli turns at the tension in my voice, his eyes darting between us. Why would he still hunt me after all these years? I ask. Ronan hesitates, his gaze moving to Eli. Not just you, he says quietly. The implication hangs in the air between us. Eli, heir to the Northern Territories, son of the Alpha King, a child with royal blood. He doesn't know, I say, voice barely above a whisper. He can't know about Eli. Darius has spies everywhere, Ronan says grimly. If he's searching these mountains, he has reason to believe the heir lives. My legs feel weak suddenly. I sink onto the edge of the bed, the reality of our situation pressing down like a physical weight. Eli approaches cautiously, leaning against my knee. Mama? He questions, sensing my distress. I force a smile. It's all right, little wolf, just tired. Ronan watches this exchange, hunger and sadness battling in his expression. His eyes linger on Eli's face, taking in every feature. He has your eyes, he says softly, echoing my earlier words. And your stubborn chin, I reply before I can stop myself. Something shifts in his expression, a softening around his mouth, a warming in his gaze. For a moment, I glimpse the man I knew before the fire, before the betrayal. I'll have food sent up, he says, stepping back into the hallway. Rest now. You're safe here. The door closes behind him with a soft click. I release a breath I didn't realize I was holding. Eli climbs onto the bed beside me, his small fingers tracing patterns on the silk coverings. Who is he? He asks simply. I hesitate, uncertain how to answer. Eli has asked about his father before, but I've always deflected, telling him stories of wolves and forests instead. Someone I knew long ago, I finally say. Eli's eyes, so like Ronan's, study my face carefully. He looks at me funny. I smooth his dark hair. He's just surprised to see us. Are we staying here? He looks around the room with undisguised fascination. Just until the storm passes, I lie. A knock sounds at the door before it opens. A servant enters with a tray of steaming food, bread, cheese, roasted meat. My stomach clenches at the sight. We haven't eaten properly in days. Eli's eyes widen. He waits for my nod before reaching for a piece of bread. I watch him eat, guilt mingling with relief. Perhaps Ronan was right to bring us here, at least for now. After we eat, I help Eli bathe in the copper tub filled with warm water. He marvels at the sensation, having known only cold creek baths his entire life. I wash his hair gently, noting how the firelight brings out auburn highlights. Like mine, not Ronan's raven black. I bathe quickly after him, scrubbing away dirt and fear. Clean clothes wait in the wardrobe as promised, simple but fine quality. The fabric feels strange against my skin after years of rough homespun. We settle into the massive bed, Eli curled against me as always. The wolves arrange themselves around the room, some by the fire, others near the door. Their presence comforts me in this unfamiliar place. Sleep refuses to come. I stare at the stone ceiling, mind racing with the day's events. Ronan alive, powerful, still claiming me as his Lena. The fortress walls around us, prison or sanctuary. Darius hunting for my son. Eli's breathing deepens into sleep. I stroke his hair, remembering the night I gave birth alone in our cave. Wolves standing guard as I screamed my pain into the darkness. How I'd whispered Ronan's name despite everything, wishing he could see his son's face. Now he has. The thought terrifies me. I rise carefully, moving to the window. Snow continues to fall, blanketing the courtyard below. Guards patrol the walls, torches flickering in the darkness. A prison, then. Beautiful, warm, but still a cage. Movement catches my eye. A tall figure crossing the courtyard, face tilted up toward my window. Ronan. Our eyes meet through the falling snow. He doesn't move, just watches me with an intensity that makes my heart race. I step back from the window, drawing the heavy curtains closed. Tomorrow, I'll find a way out. Tomorrow, I'll protect Eli from both Darius and Ronan. Tonight, I'll pretend we're safe. Morning light filters through the curtains I failed to fully close. I wake with a jolt, momentarily disoriented by the unfamiliar surroundings. Eli sleeps peacefully beside me, his face relaxed in a way I rarely see. The wolves stir at my movement, stretching and padding around the chamber. A soft knock sounds at the door. I sit up quickly, pulling the covers higher around Eli's sleeping form. "Yes?" I call, voice still rough with sleep. The door opens to reveal Maeve, her tall figure silhouetted against the hallway torches. She carries a tray of food, her expression guarded as she enters. "I brought breakfast," she says, setting the tray on a small table near the fire. "The Alpha requests your presence when you're ready." Her eyes linger on Eli, something unreadable crossing her features. I rise from the bed, positioning myself between them. "Tell him we'll come down when we're ready," I reply. Maeve hesitates, her hands clasped tightly before her. "Lena," she begins, her voice lowered. "There's much you don't understand about what happened." My body tenses. "I understand enough." "Do you?" she challenges quietly. "Do you remember who struck you that night? Who left you for dead?" Fragments flash through my mind. Fire, screaming, a shadowed figure behind me. Pain exploding at the base of my skull. But no face, no clear memory of my attacker. "It wasn't Ronan," she continues when I remain silent. "He searched for you for months. He nearly died from grief." "Yet he stopped searching," I say bitterly. "Because we found your blood, your necklace in the ashes. Because everyone told him you were gone." Her voice breaks slightly. "Because I told him." The admission hangs between us. My breath catches as pieces click into place. "You knew I survived?" She looks away, guilt evident in her posture. "We'll speak later." The Alpha waits. Before I can demand answers, she retreats, pulling the door closed behind her. I stand frozen, her words echoing in my mind. She knew. She lied to Ronan. Why? Eli stirs, rubbing his eyes as he sits up. "Mama, I'm hungry." I push aside my confusion, focusing on my son. "Breakfast is here, little wolf." We eat quickly, Eli devouring the fresh bread and honeyed porridge. I pick at my food, stomach tight with anxiety. What game is Maeve playing? What secrets does she hide? I help Eli dress in clothes left for him, finely woven tunic and pants that fit surprisingly well. I brush his hair, noting again how it catches the light like mine. "Do we have to see the big man again?" Eli asks, fidgeting under my ministrations. I swallow hard. "Yes, just for a little while." He looks at me funny. Eli repeats his observation from yesterday. I kneel before him, meeting his eyes directly. "If you feel scared or want to leave, just squeeze my hand. I won't let anyone hurt you." He nods solemnly. My fierce, brave child who has known nothing but survival his entire life. I feel a rush of determination to protect his innocence despite everything. We leave the chamber, 3 wolves accompanying us while the others remain by the fire. The fortress bustles with morning activity, servants hurrying with linens, guards changing posts, the smell of baking bread wafting from below. A young guard directs us to a large chamber on the main floor. He opens heavy wooden doors to reveal a great hall dominated by a massive fireplace and long table. Ronan stands at the head, deep in conversation with 2 advisors. He looks up when we enter, dismissing the others with a wave. "You slept well?" he asks, his eyes moving from me to Eli and back. "Well enough," I answer neutrally. Eli presses against my side, eyes wide as he takes in the hall. Tapestries depicting hunt scenes and forest landscapes hang from the stone walls. A throne-like chair stands on a raised platform at the far end, the alpha symbol carved into its high back. "Are you hungry?" Ronan asks Eli directly, his voice gentler than I've heard since our reunion. Eli shakes his head, still wary. Ronan doesn't push, just gestures toward the table. "Please sit." I guide Eli to a chair, taking the seat beside him. The wolves settle near our feet, watchful. Ronan remains standing, his powerful presence filling the space between us. "We need to talk about what happened," he says, his eyes fixed on me. "About that night." My throat tightens. "Not in front of Eli." Ronan nods, understanding. "Later then, but we need to discuss your safety now." "You mentioned Darius yesterday," I say carefully, conscious of Eli listening. "Why would he still search for me after all this time?" Ronan's gaze shifts briefly to Eli. "The Northern Territories have been at war since your disappearance. Darius claims right to the throne, saying my bloodline ended with you." The implication hangs heavy in the air. If Darius knew about Eli, knew Ronan had a living heir, his claim would be invalidated. "He attacked 3 villages last month," Ronan continues. "His forces grow stronger. There are rumors he seeks ancient power in these mountains." "Or he seeks something else," I say quietly, my hand moving protectively to Eli's shoulder. Ronan's eyes darken with understanding. "Has he come close to finding you before?" I hesitate, then nod. "Twice. We've moved our camp several times." Eli looks up at me, confused. "The bad men with torches?" Ronan's expression tightens at this confirmation. "You've been running for 6 years." "We've been surviving," I correct. His hands clench on the table edge. "You could have come home." The word strikes me like a physical blow. Home. This place was never my home. I was attacked before our mating ceremony could be completed, before I officially became Lena. "This isn't my home," I say firmly. Something shifts in his expression, pain quickly masked by determination. "It is now, for both of you." "You can't keep us here against our will," I argue, feeling trapped despite the spacious hall. "I can and will if it means keeping you safe," he counters, voice hardening. "Darius won't stop hunting. Not now that he's so close." Fear curls through me at the thought of Darius finding Eli. What would he do to my son? To Ronan's heir? The possibilities sicken me. "I've protected him this long," I insist. "In a cave," Ronan says sharply. "Half-starved, freezing, constantly moving." Eli shifts uncomfortably beside me, sensing the tension. I place a steadying hand on his arm. "We've managed," I say through gritted teeth. Ronan's eyes soften unexpectedly. "You've been incredibly brave," he acknowledges. "You've done the impossible, Lena, but you don't have to do it alone anymore." The sincerity in his voice catches me off guard. For a moment, I glimpse the man I knew before, the one who promised to protect me, to cherish me as his Luna. "What exactly are you proposing?" I ask cautiously. "Stay here. Let me protect you both properly. Let me know my son." His voice roughens on the last words, emotion bleeding through his controlled facade. Eli looks up sharply. "Son?" My heart stops. Ronan's eyes widen, realizing his mistake. I feel panic rise within me. This revelation should have come carefully, when I decided the time was right. "Eli," I begin, unsure how to explain. My son's eyes move between us, confusion giving way to dawning understanding. He studies Ronan's face with new intensity, seeing the similarities I've always noted with dread. "You're my father?" he asks Ronan directly, his voice small but steady. The silence stretches between us. Ronan looks to me, seeking permission or guidance. I give him a slight nod, knowing this truth can no longer be contained. Yes, Ronan says simply. I am. Eli's hand finds mine beneath the table, squeezing tight. I return the pressure, trying to convey reassurance I don't feel. Why weren't you with us? Eli asks, the innocent question landing like a blow. Ronan's face tightens with pain. Because I thought your mother died before you were born. I didn't know you existed until yesterday. Did you look for us? Eli presses. I searched for your mother for months, Ronan answers, his voice rough with emotion. But I was told she died in a fire. Eli processes this, his young mind working through the implications. Are you a king? He finally asks. A surprised laugh escapes Ronan, genuine and warm. Alpha King of the Northern Territories, he confirms, which makes you a prince. Eli's eyes widen at this, turning to me for confirmation. I force myself to nod despite the anxiety coursing through me. This is happening too fast, spiraling beyond my control. Can I see the castle? Eli asks, curiosity temporarily overcoming his caution. Fortress, Ronan corrects gently. And yes, I'd be honored to show you. He looks to me for permission. I hesitate, torn between my instinct to protect Eli and the knowledge that denying him this connection would be cruel. Just the main areas, I concede. And I come with you. Relief crosses Ronan's features. Of course. He extends his hand to Eli, who looks to me first before taking it hesitantly. My heart squeezes at the sight of their hands together, so similar in shape, though Eli's remains small and unblemished compared to Ronan's battle-scarred palm. We tour the fortress slowly, Ronan explaining each area with surprising patience. The great hall where pack meetings occur, the armory where weapons gleam on racks, the kitchen where servants bow respectfully as we pass. With each new discovery, Eli grows more animated, his natural curiosity overcoming his initial fear. I follow a few steps behind, watching their interaction with mixed emotions. This is what I denied my son for 6 years: knowledge of his father, his heritage, his birthright. The guilt weighs heavily against my instinct for survival. And this, Ronan says, pushing open a heavy door, is the library. Books line the walls from floor to ceiling. Eli gasps, eyes wide with wonder. We had only 2 battered books in our cave, treasures I'd salvaged during one desperate supply run to an abandoned village. Can I touch them? Eli whispers. They're yours to read, Ronan answers, his voice tender. All of them. Eli approaches a shelf cautiously, running his fingers along leather spines with reverence. Ronan watches him, naked longing on his face. The expression makes my chest ache with emotions I can't fully name. You taught him to read, Ronan says quietly to me. I nod, remembering nights spent tracing letters in dirt by firelight. What little I could. You've done remarkably, he says, sincerity evident in his tone. Before I can respond, a guard bursts into the library, breathing heavily. Alpha, he says urgently. Scouts report movement at the northern border, rogues wearing Darius's colors. Ronan's expression hardens instantly. How many? A small party, 5 or 6. Reconnaissance likely. Double the patrols. No one enters or leaves without my direct order. He turns to us, his face grim. You'll stay inside the fortress walls. Both of you. Fear spikes through me. They're getting closer. Ronan nods, his jaw tight. He senses the heir is near. His claim to the throne weakens with each passing day. Eli looks between us, sensing the tension. The bad men are coming here? They won't get past the walls, Ronan assures him firmly. I won't let them. I want to believe him. 6 years of running makes trust difficult to rebuild. Mama? Eli questions, moving back to my side. We're safe for now, I tell him, hoping it's not a lie. Ronan's eyes meet mine over Eli's head. I will protect you both with my life, he says, his voice leaving no room for doubt. I failed you once. Never again. The intensity of his promise sends an involuntary shiver through me. I remember this Ronan, the fierce protector, the devoted mate, the man I loved before everything burned. Before I can respond, Maeve appears in the doorway. Alpha, the council awaits your decision on the border patrols. Ronan nods reluctantly. I must go, he tells us. Return to your chambers. Guards will be posted at your door. Are we prisoners here? I ask sharply. His expression softens. No, Lena. Your family. There's a difference. The word echoes in my mind as he leaves. Family. Something we haven't been for 6 long years. Something I'm not sure we can become again. Eli tugs at my hand. I like the books, he says simply. I smile despite my fear. We can borrow some for tonight. He selects 3 volumes with careful deliberation. We return to our chambers, wolves padding alongside us. Guards stand at attention as promised, nodding respectfully as we pass. Inside our room, I settle Eli by the fire with his books. He reads slowly, sounding out difficult words with determination. I watch him, wondering if I've made the right choices. If running was better than facing the truth. If hiding him from Ronan was protection or punishment. A knock interrupts my thoughts. I open the door to find Maeve standing in the hallway, her expression solemn. We need to talk, she says quietly. About the night of the fire, about why I lied to Ronan. I hesitate, looking back at Eli absorbed in his reading. He deserves the truth, Maeve adds. You both do. I step into the hallway, pulling the door nearly closed behind me. Speak quickly, I say. Maeve's eyes dart to the guards before she leans closer. Not here. Meet me in the West Tower when the moon rises. Come alone. Before I can question her further, she turns and walks away, her back rigid with tension. I return to our chamber, mind racing with possibilities. Does Maeve know who attacked me? Why would she hide my survival from Ronan? The answers wait in the West Tower. The question is whether I'm brave enough to seek them. The moon rises full and bright, casting silver light through our chamber window. Eli sleeps peacefully, surrounded by his borrowed books. The wolves curl protectively around the bed, their amber eyes watching as I move quietly about the room. I shouldn't go. Every instinct warns against trusting Maeve, against leaving Eli alone. Yet answers wait in the West Tower. Answers I've sought for 6 years. I kneel beside the largest wolf, the silver female who first found me bleeding in the forest. Watch him, I whisper, stroking her thick fur. She blinks slowly in acknowledgement. The guards outside our door stand at attention as I emerge. I need air, I explain. Just a short walk. They exchange uncertain glances. The Alpha ordered, one begins. I'm not leaving the fortress, I interrupt. Just walking the halls. After a moment's hesitation, they nod. I move through the darkened corridors, remembering the layout from earlier. Servants have retired for the night, leaving the fortress quiet except for the occasional guard patrol. The West Tower stands tallest among the fortress spires, accessible by a narrow winding staircase. I climb slowly, heart pounding with anticipation and dread. What truth awaits me? What secrets has Maeve kept all these years? She waits at the top, silhouetted against the moon-bright window. Her face turns toward me as I reach the landing, features taut with anxiety. You came, she says, relief evident in her tone. I want answers, I reply simply. Maeve nods, gesturing to a small bench beneath the window. I remain standing, unwilling to relinquish even the small advantage of height. The night of the attack, she begins, her voice low. What do you remember? I close my eyes briefly, summoning the fragmented memories. Fire, screaming, pain at the base of my skull, then darkness until I woke in the forest with the wolves. You don't remember who struck you? She presses. I shake my head. A shadow behind me. Nothing more. Maeve's hands tremble slightly. It was Darius. The name sends ice through my veins. Darius attacked me? She nods grimly. He came with his rogues during the mating ceremony preparations. While Ronan defended the main hall, Darius slipped away, hunting for you. But why fake my death? I demand. Why let Ronan believe I died? Maeve's eyes drop to her clasped hands. Because Darius ordered me to bring you to him alive. My breath catches. You betrayed us. I refused, she corrects quickly. When I found you unconscious, I saw my chance. I took your necklace, spread your blood in the burning chamber, made Darius believe you died in the flames. And Ronan? I ask, voice tight with anger. Why let him suffer? Pain crosses her features. Because Darius would never stop hunting if he knew you lived. He'd use Ronan's love to track you. The only way to truly protect you was to make everyone believe you died, even Ronan. The truth settles over me like a physical weight. 6 years of hiding, of fear, of raising Eli alone, all because of this woman's decision. You had no right, I say, my voice shaking. I saved your life, she counters, and your child's. By destroying Ronan's? I challenge. Maeve flinches. He survived. He rebuilt. He became stronger. He grieved needlessly for 6 years. Would you rather Darius had found you? Found your son? Her voice rises slightly. Do you know what he planned for the Alpha's heir? Cold fear replaces my anger. What do you mean? Maeve steps closer, her face grim in the moonlight. Darius follows the old ways. Blood magic, sacrifice. He believes consuming the heart of an Alpha's firstborn grants immortality. Horror washes through me. I press a hand to my mouth, bile rising in my throat. That's why he hunts the mountains, I whisper. He's looking for Eli. He sensed the child's presence, Maeve confirms. The blood bond between Alpha and heir grows stronger as the child ages. Eli's power awakens. My mind races with this new understanding. The wolves finding us, protecting us, responding to the Alpha bloodline in my son. The increasing frequency of rogue patrols in recent months. Eli's growing connection to the forest, his whispered conversations with animals I couldn't hear. Does Ronan know this? I ask. Maeve shakes her head. He knows Darius follows dark practices, but not the specific threat to Eli. I feared telling him while you remained missing would drive him to madness. He deserves to know now, I say firmly. Tonight. Before Maeve can respond, a howl pierces the night, sharp, urgent, warning. My blood freezes in recognition. My wolves. Eli, I gasp, already moving toward the stairs. Another howl joins the first, then another. Guards shout in the courtyard below. Metal clangs against metal, the sound of combat. Attack! Someone shouts from below. Rogues in the fortress! I fly down the stairs, heart pounding painfully against my ribs. How did they get past the walls? How did they find us so quickly? Maeve follows close behind. The eastern wall, she calls to a passing guard. Are they breached? No, Beta, he answers quickly. They came through the old tunnels beneath the armory. Small force, heavily armed. The eastern wall, where our chambers lie. Terror propels me forward. I race through corridors now filled with soldiers rushing to defend their Alpha's home. None try to stop me. None recognize the desperate mother running toward her child. Our hallway stands empty, the posted guards absent. The door to our chambers hangs open, splintered near the lock. Blood stains the stone floor outside. Eli! I scream, bursting inside. The room lies in chaos. Furniture overturned, tapestries torn from walls. 3 dead rogues sprawl across the floor, throats torn out by wolf fangs. But no Eli, no wolves. The window stands open, cold air rushing in. I run to it, leaning out to see dark figures moving across the courtyard below, 2 men carrying a small, struggling bundle. My son. No! The scream tears from my throat. Heavy footsteps pound behind me. Ronan appears in the doorway, his face transformed with rage. Blood spatters his shirt, a sword clutched in his right hand. "Where is he?" he demands, eyes scanning the destruction. "They took him," I say, voice breaking. "The courtyard." Ronan moves to the window, looking down at the fleeing figures. A growl rises from his chest. Inhuman, primal. His body shudders, bones cracking as the shift begins. "Wait!" Maeve gasps from the doorway. "Alpha! The tunnels!" Too late. Ronan's body contorts, clothes tearing as fur erupts from his skin. In seconds, a massive black wolf stands where the man had been, eyes blazing with fury. He leaps from the window without hesitation, a 3-story drop that would kill a human. The wolf lands with predatory grace, already running toward the fleeing rogues. "The tunnels!" Maeve repeats urgently. "It's the only way they could escape." I follow her blindly, grief and rage fueling my steps. We race down spiral stairs, through the kitchens, past startled servants. Maeve pushes aside a heavy shelf, revealing a narrow stone passage. "These run beneath the entire fortress," she explains, grabbing a torch from the wall, "built generations ago as escape routes." We enter the dark passage, the torch casting long shadows ahead. The smell of damp earth and ancient stone surrounds us. In the distance, I hear snarls and shouts. Ronan engaging the enemy. My foot strikes something soft. I look down to find one of my wolves, the young male with russet fur. His side rises and falls with labored breaths, blood matting his coat. "He's alive," I whisper, kneeling quickly. The wolf whimpers, trying to rise. He staggers a few steps forward, looking back at me with urgent purpose. He's tracking Eli, I realize. The pack bond. We follow the injured wolf through winding passages, his instinct guiding us where torchlight fails. The sounds of fighting grow louder. We round a corner to find chaos. Ronan in wolf form battling 4 rogues, their weapons glinting in the dim light. Beyond them, a tall figure holds Eli, a knife pressed to my son's throat. Darius. I recognize him instantly despite the years, the same cruel eyes, the same scarred face. He looks older, harder, his once handsome features twisted with ambition and dark magic. "Stop," he commands as we appear. 1 step closer and the boy dies. Ronan freezes mid-attack, a rogue pinned beneath his massive paws. His eyes burn with murderous rage, but he doesn't advance. "Let him go," I say, stepping forward slowly. "Your quarrel is with us, not him." Darius laughs, the sound echoing through the stone passage. "The child is exactly my quarrel, Luna. Or should I say, the former Luna." Eli's eyes find mine, wide with terror. His mouth is gagged, hands bound before him. Tears streak his dirt-smudged face. "What do you want?" I ask, though I already know the answer. "The throne," Darius replies simply. "The power that comes with alpha blood." Ronan growls, the sound reverberating through the tunnel. Darius presses the knife tighter against Eli's throat, drawing a thin line of blood. "Control your mate, Ronan," he taunts. "Unless you want to watch your heir die before he's even acknowledged." Maeve steps forward, her hands raised placatingly. "Take me instead," she offers. "I'm Beta. My blood carries power, too." Darius scoffs. "Not enough. Not firstborn alpha blood." His eyes gleam with fanatical light. The ancient texts are specific. The heart of an alpha's firstborn grants immortality, invincibility. Eli whimpers behind his gag, trembling against the knife. My heart shatters at his fear. "Please," I beg, all pride abandoned. "He's just a child. Take me. Take my heart instead." Mother's sacrifice, Darius muses, considering. Potent, but not what the ritual requires. Ronan shifts suddenly, bones cracking as he forces his body back to human form. He stands naked, bleeding from multiple wounds, but his eyes remain fixed on Darius. "Let him go," he commands, his voice deadly calm. "Take me instead. Alpha blood is stronger than an untested child's." Darius hesitates, greed battling with caution in his expression. The texts specify firstborn. "I am firstborn," Ronan counters. "My father's firstborn. More powerful than a child who hasn't come into his abilities?" I see the lie for what it is, a desperate ploy to save our son. But Darius considers it, his grip on Eli loosening slightly. That small movement is all the opportunity needed. The silver wolf, my oldest companion, launches from the shadows behind Darius, jaws clamping around his arm. He screams, the knife clattering to the ground as Eli wrenches free. "Run!" I scream to my son. Eli bolts toward me as chaos erupts. Ronan charges Darius, human form forgotten as he shifts mid-stride back to wolf. The rogues attack in unison, weapons flashing in the torchlight. I catch Eli in my arms, clutching him tightly as Maeve pushes us behind her. She draws a dagger from her belt, facing the approaching rogues with grim determination. "The exit is just ahead," she says urgently. "Take him and go." "I won't leave Ronan," I refuse, watching him battle Darius, teeth tearing at the rogue alpha's flesh. "He's fighting for you to escape," Maeve snaps. "Don't waste his sacrifice." Before I can argue further, a rogue breaks through, blade slashing toward us. Maeve intercepts, her dagger driving into his chest. Blood sprays across the stone floor. More rogues appear from the tunnel's dark recesses. We're surrounded, outnumbered. Eli clings to me, face buried against my neck. "Mama?" He whispers against my skin. I'm scared. "I know, little wolf," I say, smoothing his hair. "Stay close to me." The tunnel suddenly echoes with new howls. Not Ronan's pack, but mine. The wolves burst from the darkness, teeth bared in feral rage. They slam into the rogues, driving them back with savage efficiency. In the center of the battle, Ronan and Darius continue their deadly dance. Both bleed from multiple wounds, but neither yields. Darius fights with unnatural strength, dark magic sustaining him beyond normal human limits. "We need to help him," I tell Maeve, setting Eli behind a fallen boulder. She nods grimly. Distraction tactics. Draw Darius's focus from the alpha. I grab a fallen sword, its weight unfamiliar in my hand. Maeve takes another blade, nodding toward Darius's unprotected back. We move together, circling the fighting alphas. Ronan sees our intention, his attacks growing more aggressive, forcing Darius to focus entirely on him. When Darius raises his arm for a killing blow, we strike. My sword slashes across his back while Maeve's blade sinks into his thigh. He screams, whirling to face this new threat. That moment of distraction is all Ronan needs. His massive wolf form launches forward, jaws closing around Darius's throat. Blood spurts as teeth puncture flesh. Darius struggles, hands clawing at Ronan's fur, eyes wide with disbelief. A gurgling sound escapes his lips as Ronan's jaws tighten. Then silence. His body goes limp, eyes staring sightlessly at the tunnel ceiling. The remaining rogues flee at the sight of their leader's defeat, disappearing into the darkness. The wolves pursue, vengeful shadows hunting through ancient stone. Ronan shifts back to human form, his body heaving with exertion. Blood, his and Darius's, coats his skin. His eyes find mine across the carnage, relief replacing rage. "Eli?" he gasps. "Safe," I answer, already turning toward our son's hiding place. Eli emerges cautiously, eyes wide at the destruction around him. When he sees Ronan, naked, bloodied, victorious, he hesitates only briefly before running to him. Ronan kneels, opening his arms. Eli crashes into his embrace, small body trembling with released fear. Ronan holds him gently, mindful of his wounds, eyes closing in wordless gratitude. I approach slowly, sword lowered but not discarded. The battle's end doesn't erase 6 years of mistrust, of survival instincts honed by fear. You saved him, I acknowledge quietly. Ronan looks up, still holding our son. We saved him, he corrects. Together. Maeve approaches, offering a cloak to cover Ronan's nakedness. The fortress is secure, she reports. The remaining rogues are being hunted down. Ronan nods, wrapping the cloak around himself one-handed, unwilling to release Eli completely. Darius's death will scatter his followers, he says. But not forever. Someone will rise to take his place. Then we'll be ready, I say with more confidence than I feel. Eli pulls back slightly from Ronan's embrace, studying his father's bloodied face with solemn intensity. You turned into a wolf, he says simply. A small smile touches Ronan's lips. I did. It's in our blood. Yours too someday. Eli's eyes widen. I can be a wolf? When you're older, Ronan promises. When you're ready. My son turns to me, excitement breaking through his lingering fear. Did you hear, Mama? I can be a wolf too. Despite everything, the danger, the bloodshed, the uncertain future, I find myself smiling at his enthusiasm. I heard, little wolf. Ronan rises carefully, wincing at his injuries. He doesn't release Eli's hand, but his eyes meet mine over our son's head. Come home, he says softly. Both of you. For good this time. The request hangs between us, weighted with 6 years of separation and fresh blood still cooling on stone. Home, safety, family. The rogues will regroup, I say, voicing my fear. They'll come again. And we'll face them together, Ronan replies, conviction steady in his voice, as we should have years ago. My wolves return from their hunt, muzzles dark with blood. They circle us protectively, victorious but wary. The silver female approaches Ronan directly, eyes meeting his in silent communication. Your pack protected our son when I couldn't, Ronan acknowledges, inclining his head to the wolf. They're welcome in our home for as long as they choose to stay. Our home. The words echo in my mind, tempting and terrifying. I've survived alone for so long, trusted no one but my wolves and my son. Lena, Ronan says, his voice gentling. Come home. Eli looks between us, sensing the weight of the moment. Please, Mama, he adds, his small voice tipping the scales of my hesitation. I think of our cave, cold and isolated. I think of years spent running, always looking over my shoulder, always afraid. I think of Eli growing up without knowledge of his heritage, his power, his father. Home, I repeat, testing the word. I'm not sure I remember what that means. Ronan's free hand reaches for mine, tentative, giving me space to refuse. Then let me show you, he says. Let me remind you. After a moment's hesitation, I place my hand in his. His fingers close around mine, warm and steady despite his wounds. Let's go home, I say finally. Eli smiles, the expression transforming his face from solemn child to joyful boy. Ronan's eyes shine with emotion too complex to name. Together, we walk from the blood-soaked tunnels toward the moonlit courtyard above. The wolves flank us protectively, a united pack for the first time. Not safety, not yet, but possibility. A chance for the family we might have been, the family we might still become.